In this video, I'm going to show you how I am making uh, my own chaps for the front engine guard on VTX 1300. It can pretty much be done for any motorcycle that you want. I originally started off with plastic ones that I cut out and installed. This was the right hand side and this was the left hand side on the motorcycle. I had cutouts for the pegs, and basically I then use zip ties to attach it to my to the chrome crash guards. The thing to note is that these plastic pieces, I got from a garbage can, larger garbage can, were good. However, wherever they rubbed against the chrome bar, they've left a mark. Basically, the chrome has rubbed off of it. Everywhere where there's a zip tie, those have also rubbed in and have left a permanent mark. These I have used for well over, I would say, 2 years. They've been very effective. It's kind of surprising to see how much of a wind this thing stops and how relaxed your feet and your legs feel. They're extremely effective during the winter months when you get all that cold air hitting you. So what I've done is I've always wanted to go to different style chaps, like stuff that's made out of vinyl or leather or whatever other material you may want. And so I basically made a paper template first, in that fashion. And the main thing that I'm doing is I'm not doing a two-sided chap. I'm doing a one-sided chap, and then this part here then wraps around the bar, and then it gets attached to the inside edge of the inside edge of the crash bar. And in order to install this, I've gone ahead and used Velcro strips. This is the one with the sticky back. So the sticky end, that is the harder part, the plastic portion of this, is what I am attaching or gluing onto the crash bars. If down the road I want to ever remove this, it's very easy to remove the adhesive from the crash bars because they're chrome. So any type of paint thinner will work in removing it. This is what I bought. This is very effective. I've already cut one out, as you can see here, and have installed it on the bike, and it holds well. I've only driven it like a few miles to test drive. However, one thing that you do want to do is the felt portion. Never use a sticky for that, because first of all, this does not stick to the material. Secondly, my intention was to use a sewing machine to sew the edges. I'll show you the flip side. This is what it looks like. I wanted to sew it on. However, because that material is extremely sticky, once the needle goes through, it jams the thread in the machine. I only came to realize that once I started to stitch by hand because everything was sticky. And so realized why the sewing machine was jamming on me. So when you want to attach to the backside, use a felt strip that is not sticky on the backside. You want to make sure it's not an adhesive style. It is just a plain felt cloth style, and then you will be able to save a ton of time sewing it to the backside of these of the chaps that you make. I'm going to flip this back around. This is what it will look like. This is again the right hand side, the throttle side of the bike. I have some cutouts here. That's because I have two mounting bars that are actually holding up a wind deflector, so I have to go around. And as you can see, I end up cutting these at different location because, as you know, the cloth is not going to wrap around the bar when you have a solid piece. So hence the reason why I've ended up cutting V's, and then when you install them, you install the lower one, then the next one, and the next one. This way you overlap the bottom edge. And so I'll show you all that stuff installed on the bike. But however, I just wanted to show you where the templates were coming from. And then basically from there I traced it out on the back side. You want to make sure you trace the right direction because that's how it's going to come out. So this is going to be the clutch side, and as you can see, this is going to be the portion on there that's going to be towards the top. Got the two cutouts for my clamps that are holding the wind deflector. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out, and then start to get my Velcro mounted on here. And once I've done that, then I'll go outside and I'll show you how to mount the Velcro, the other Velcro strip on the crash bars. One other thing that I wanted to point out is about the template making process. You have to be very patient with it. I initially used my existing chap that I had as the beginning template, and then I built upon it from there. And then from there, it took a lot of time and effort to be able to cut out the different areas and then figure out how that paper was going to wrap around the bar. So just be patient. That's one of the things that I had issues with. But if you take your time and do it, you'll be able to use the reverse side as the template for the other side as well. So just keep that in mind. So once you've got one side done, you pretty much have the template for the other side. So this is what it looks like on the bike. I've kind of left some area on the side for the air to flow through, while it will stop majority of the air. So you can see it goes around my clamps, and on the back side I have it wrapping around, and so left this tab open so you could see this is the Velcro. Tightens down, and then it meets up down below. So just to show you how the Velcro strip is installed on the other side, just wanted to show you this is what it looks like. So you have the Velcro strips here. I've got them installed here. I have it installed across here and a piece across here, and so this is what's going to hold the chaps in place. So this is what it looks like uninstalled, the other side installed. So I'm going to go ahead and finish installing the chaps on this side. You just want to make sure that you clean the surface, make sure there's no oil residue left, and it's clean of debris. So I used a triple knot or quadruple knot steel wool, clean the surface, and then use a paint thinner to wipe the surface down and make sure that there's no oils left on there. So I'm going to get the other side installed and show you what it looks like. So this is it. Here you have the clutch side, and here you have the throttle side all done. To give you an idea what it looks like from behind, this is the gear side, and here is the rear brake side. So hopefully time will tell me how well this system works. So after having this installed for a few days, and I've driven for a couple of days now in this thing, I rode Friday and Saturday, you can see that the sticky portion of this thing is starting to come off in a couple of areas. It came off on this side at 2 places, on the other side it's come off on 2 different places as well. For the most part of it, it's stuck on, So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and braid it on the outside, crisscrossing pattern. So this way this will stay on. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the tape portion of it as a means and methods of installing it and keeping it on there while I go back and then braid uh, back and forth all the way around in a crisscross pattern. So what I've done is, as you can see in here, I've marked off some locations, put holes through them using a nail, and then I used a drill bit that was a little larger size, and as you can see it'll shrink back to a smaller opening. Of just wanted to create some holes. Then I'm using this leather, it's an 1/8 inch, let me get this in focus, it's an 1/8 inch leather band that I got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the top at this location and then work all the way down to the bottom, and then I'll have the knot tied at the bottom on the inside so that it's not visible on the outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for this whole bike on this side, and then I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side as well. So one thing that I've done is I've taped it to a needle that I can use to pass through. So once I figure out the length that I need, I will do this to both ends and then simply start threading it in from the upper corner holes right here. I made 2 on this side and 3 in here, and then some in here. I'm trying to do it in equal spacing, whatever suits your thing. But anyways, so I'm gonna come out, go through here, go crisscross. It'll crisscross at the top, come back down through here. One thread will then just simply go right behind this, while the other thread on the other side will go over this part and come back out through that hole right there, and then I'll start crisscrossing again. So let me get this thing started, and I'll show you how it turns out. So in order to lay out the thread, what I needed to do was to figure out the length that I require for one loop all the way down, because I have to double up my thread. So I guess what I could have done was I could have pulled it from the bottom, did it all the way around, then looped back this way, and then looped all the way around. But I don't know how far to pull that thread, and I don't want to pull double the thread length and keep adjusting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the middle and go this way, and then wrap both sides as I'm coming along, so that I end up with just enough string to tie at the end and then cut off the excess. So I did a calculation quickly, so I figured out what the thread length is from one loop to the back hole on this side. There it is. It's about 5.5 inches, and then I multiplied by the count of crossovers that I was planning on having, and that's 17, and then I had 3 inches of thread sticking out, and so that's 96.5 inches. So what I did was I threaded the thread through just so that I could verify the way I'm doing it, you know, to verify my calculation. And interestingly enough, I have come out to approximately 95 inches instead of 96.5 inches. So basically 1.5 inches short. So that tells you that calculating it is very close. What you do is perhaps add 10%. It's always better to have extra thread at the end, and then make your knot that you need to, and then cut off the excess. So just another approach that could save you a lot of time, where you can just quickly measure it, know exactly how much thread is needed, cut off the thread, put a needle on both sides, and then start threading it through the system. So just wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to go ahead and add 10% to that. 10% of 100 is basically, or 5% of 100, let's just say, is 5 inches. So I'm just going to make sure my thread is one length is added 5 inches. So I'm just going to say 100. I'm going to round it up to 100 and say 105 inches is one side. So I need 210 inches in total for one side. So I'm going to cut my thread at 210 and then cut off the excess after I have gone through. I'm going to mark the middle, so this way when I pull both needles through, I can start making it tight from that point on. So 110 will guarantee me, 105 inches on each side will guarantee me plenty of thread that I have on the end when I get to it to make the knot. So just thought I'd share this tip with you so that it saves you time as well when you're figuring out the thread length that's needed to wrap the bars. Okay, I've got this all wrapped up. As you can see, this is what it looks like. So I pretty much braided it all around, across the bottom. And get this light adjusted so you can see pretty much what it looks like around here, across the top, through there. You can see that's where I started, and this is where I have ended up. So pretty much threaded it up. So it's all tied up now. It looks braided from a distance. You can see the crisscross pattern. So that's basically it. I ended up with some extra thread that I thread back and forth, and then I did not end up cutting it up. So pretty much just had enough to tie the knot at the end, and that was it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the other side, and then I should be done. Okay, so I've got the right hand side done, the throttle side. That's what it looks like from the front. I think it looks pretty cool. The top, the edges. Show you the picture from behind. That's what it looks like from behind. It's all threaded in. I'll lift this up. Let's see if I can get it brighter. There's that. I think I might have missed a hole or two. Well, I must have like cross-threaded in the wrong location, but anyways, it's done. So that's what you can expect if you do something similar. This was a lot cheaper than simply buying ones that are already made that I would have to modify somehow, because I've got extra brackets. I've got, you know, my heel extender that I could, you know, to support my foot when I'm riding on long runs. So that kind of makes getting something standard a little difficult or challenging, that you're going to have to end up modifying. So if you end up paying $150, $200 for those chaps, which you then have to cut holes in, I think this is a lot easier. It takes a little bit more time just initially to get the shape, but after that it's so much cheaper than the other routes, especially when you've, like I said, you've done custom things. So that's about it. I hope this video has been helpful in some way for you to take upon yourself this added challenge, and basically post your questions. If you have anything below, I'll do my best to answer them, and if you've got better ideas or better ways of doing it, feel free to share them with everybody as well. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope that this was helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hope to see you down in the comments.